I read from my journal yesterday and caught myself being full of BS. I was horny, but I was trying to say that I wasn't for some altruistic reason. Who knows? And the result of reading that was later that evening, before my wife and I went to bed, we had an amazing time before going to sleep, if you catch my drift. So I actually learned something from my journal of very, very long ago that applied to my life today. Don't mess around. Don't play head games. If you are feeling a certain way, act on it.
You lost the ability to even think.
People have always gotten inspiration from other people, but that's hyper accelerated in the social media age where you're scrolling for hours looking at what other people are doing. That is a very feminine psychology, to base what you want or your motivations on the actions of others. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is feminine psychology, where it is relative to others. The word relative comes from the Latin word relativus, and that means in relation to something else or in proportion to another. Masculine psychology is more centered on either yourself or the environment. And it has good applications too. For example, you're going to go to dinner with your spouse and the conversation usually goes, where do you want to go for dinner? Well, I don't know. Where do you want to go for dinner? Well, I don't know. Where do you want to go for dinner? And you end up making a funny meme about the miscommunications that happen in couples when it comes to going to dinner.
Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
The alpha male would say, we're going to Chick-fil-A. The beta male would say, I don't care, honey, wherever you want to go. The sigma male would say, I don't want to eat out. The tau male would articulate both positions, the relative and the centered. The tau male would say, if I was going to eat by myself right now, I could really go for Chick-fil-A. But I'm considerate of your feelings, so I'm happy to go where you might want to go. Give me some of your options. And then your spouse would say, wow, I really appreciate that articulation. Say, Chick-fil-A sounds good to me too. I'd really want to go there. So you end up doing something in a much more overall positive way than some compromise or default that you're not even aware of. Friday, October 17th, 1980, TGIF. Day was great. I only remember it was because I'm so tired now. I don't think anything's great. I'm staying up to watch Fridays. I bet Joe a buck he couldn't stay up. He is, and so am I. Today's great thing was a presentation we had in school today. It was called Power Play. It was about being negative to other people and how not to be. It really got me hyped up. I was really emotional about it. Remember? That screen show and music along with the theme and the songs and the narrator's speech. I must try to remember all that and change. Worked out today, stretches and weights. Wore my new shirt today. Kristen Hoffensberger liked it. Science was a blast today. Remember the chlorophyll extracting and the dark room with the black light? I really want to quit now. Talk to you tomorrow. Good night. A quick note about what that was, the chlorophyll experiment. We used alcohol to extract chlorophyll from plant leaves and ended up with a test tube that was like clear green liquid. And then we went into the dark room and we put a black light, which emits ultraviolet light. You couldn't see it in the dark room really that much, onto the test tube. And the test tube started to glow red. Right? And Mr. Wilford said, does anybody know what's going on here? And bam, I understood exactly what was happening. You know, chlorophyll is the cells in plants that convert sunlight into energy so that they can grow. And I said, the ultraviolet light is being converted by the chlorophyll, turning red, emitting infrared, that's the working to produce the energy the plants need. And Mr. Wilford just looked at me like wide-eyed, and the other kids were like, what the hell did he just say? That was a great moment in my 10th grade career, was just grasping a concept so quickly and easily. I feel bad I blurted out what was going on, but I don't think it mattered. I still don't think those other kids understood. Let's go on. Saturday, October 18th, 1980. Another late night entry. Just got finished watching Marathon Man, which was really good. Got some stuff done today. Wrote my mom, Andre, and Scott. Finished making the harness setup for my backpack. Got my homework done except for my news report and my lab. I left that in school. I attempted a board drawing but fastly lost interest. I got into my toolbox though and started figging around with all my gadgets and organized them up. Helped the parents haul in a jumbo load of wood they got from the lumber yard to burn this winter, mainly scraps of oak. Dan's going to sell all our pumpkins out on the street. I'm helping him make the sign saying pumpkins for sale 50 cents. If he sells them all, he'll make a decent amount of money for his age, $15. I like to see him doing that. Maybe I can then use that to bring up my business. I also got the idea of selling pumpkins real cheap. 400 pumpkins at 50 cents each is $200. Easy money. Well, catch you later. Sunday, October 19th, 1980. Not a bad day. I was pretty active. Got up and had a little breakfast, went to the bathroom, and then got to work on finishing Dan's sign. I then helped him set up the pumpkins outside. He made $14 today. Hey, I clapped for that. I'm really happy to see him do that, although I'm unhappy for a lot of the other things he does. I helped out on digging the power posts for the trailer. We dug it out and set it up over next to the Bull's barn for power this winter. I spent a large portion of the day messing around down behind the trailer, cutting down obstructing trees for a rope I put on one of the big trees to swing on over the gorgeous dirt road. It was a real pain in the ass getting the rope looped over the tree, but me and Joe had fun when I completed it. Joe and I had a good weight workout today. We really pushed it. I did other little stuff like fiddle in between those activities, but as usual, I miss a lot when writing it down. You know the reasons why, don't you? Convo with you laters. Kent. Monday, October 20th, 1980. First of all, I can start talking about my day in the sense of new stuff from the time I get home from school. I don't think of school as an important thing to get in this log because it's such an everyday thing. Also because so much happens in school, I don't want to attempt to get it all down. I will put, however, a certain incident. It wasn't much. I just happened to get face to face with Teresa Howley. She has the beautiful eyes. She has the beautifulest eyes I have ever seen. They are glowing, blue, and her skin is perfect, smooth. She is so unique. I've never seen anybody that ever looked like her. I mean, they're all the same, but she is totally different, and gorgeous too. I know. I was in love with Lisa, and I raved about her before, but she kept talking about Billy. I got sick of it. I really want to question Teresa. Can't say what will happen. I almost went to a varsity club meeting after school today, but didn't sign up for the late bus. Joe and I stretched out today, right after school. I really pigged out after that and couldn't eat my fish patties at supper. I washed a shitload of dishes today, then some I worked on my homework. I finished it up a little later. Surprisingly, not much else happened after school. Since last Monday, it has been 1 week and my 1 week of physical only stuff is over. And as soon as it is, I get the bitching thoughts that I can't catch. Doing the physical only thing was good. Hang on, I have a motto to put in the front. Because I didn't get a jumble of thoughts ever. There were select things that came up, but I still reserved them. There are just some things you can't put down, and I don't. All I can say is I'll just work on describing physical stuff well and do that until really select thoughts come to me. That's the occasion I may write non-physical stuff. I will outlaw writing stuff that corrupts me. That's the stuff I can't get down, the non-physical. Has made me realize that it was bad because it was a royal waste of time trying to explain something that was a mirage. Straightforwardness is what I want. With real emotions and feelings, straightforward is what I want with real emotions and feelings. Good, I'm glad I stuck the scum in the back. Good night, everyone. I'll see the world in the morning. Did we miss something there? October 21st, 1980, 9:19 p.m. This is the log. Must be something special about to happen. Let's read. I'm trying to think of a word to summarize the day, but I can't quite get one. I mean, it was really quite ordinary. Nothing really great happened today until about an hour ago. Trying to think of something in school. We had a substitute for math and we were also in a different room. I used a drawing gadget today in Mechanical Drawing 1. It was really a help. Got a quiz in Spanish today and also a test on the Greeks back in social studies. I got a 79 on that one. Rosalind gave me an X-Acto knife on the bus today. Joe and I did our workout after school again today. That works good, so we'll probably always do that. Did the dishes and worked on my homework after that. Tonight we had a family dinner. Joe and Sue pulled the table out from the wall and put a big carpet down and cleaned up. We had a nice family meal. Anyway, we got on the subject of the Marines, and I got on my old side of saying the services was just big mothers, and it's easy to live your life in the services. It's all orders. As you could guess, since Joe is going in the Marines in a year, he got defensive to what I was saying. He then after supper told me not to do that again, since it was contradictory to me always saying a family should support its members. I was on the spot and didn't know what to say, so I just left to do more of my homework. I then felt bad because I knew Joe was upset after my presentation and not apologizing for my attack. I then started thinking and wrote this note to him to slip in his stereo so he would find it before he went to bed. It said, Joe, I purposely got you upset tonight about thinking the services was a mother. This means there is a weakness in your decision. I just wanted you to be aware of that weakness so you can look at your decision in many ways and stand by it. If you really believed your decision as what you want, you should stand fast with it and not give a fuck what I or anybody else has to say about it. You still need commitment to your decision, or else you would not have gotten mad. You got mad because you may not have totally believed in it. Believe in your decision. No decision is a bad one as long as it is constructive to your future life. It's only bad if you go into it half-heartedly. I just would have liked to bring that out so you have no doubts about what you're doing and enjoy the rest of your life from the decisions you've made. It's a big decision, Joe, and I want you to be happy with it. My apologies, Kent. That's what I wrote to him. I didn't know I could express myself like that and have such hopeful feelings for another person as I did when I wrote that. I must admit, when I was arguing with Joe, I had none of the above intention in mind. I created those feelings after I left the scene. It must also be a lot of description of myself, I bet, with my Space Invaders project and all. Anyway, he got the note and read it before I got to bed. He didn't get it at first because he hadn't read it, but after doing so, he gave me this note before going to bed. I don't have that note anymore. The feelings run high, and I feel there is some hope for me in developing into a state of love for my fellow humans. That is what I wish to do in my life. Until the next day, good night. Kent. All right, this is my school journal. We're going to go through it as fast as possible. October 8th, 1980. This journal time was used particularly to argue with Kristen about how money doesn't make anybody look good. She says it helps, and I agree, but I wouldn't let her know because it's fun getting her in the spot. Welcome to Doodleville. October 9th, 1980. I can't think of anything to say because I was preoccupied fiddling with my tape player I brought to school. I brought it to English class because Miss Baroud usually let me play Joe's when I had it. I hope we discuss the book we're reading today. I am really enjoying it and I like to talk about it. Okay, Mrs. Baroud, I'll finish up my journal. You heard her. I have to go. Speculators. October 10th, 1980. A little bit of news this morning. Took a big math test today, first period, and I think I fared well. Worked on a new type of drawing today in mechanical drawing and finished it perfect. I was really proud. Hey, I'm going to quit so I can read a little bit of SOMGs. Laters. TGIF. Oh, wow. Miss Brew just said she'll be checking journals to see if it looks like you're writing 5 minutes a day. That didn't look like 5 minutes. October 14th, 1980. The teacher is trying to get us to be quiet and write in our journals. Of course, I would much rather talk, flirt, with Kristen here in front of me. See that? I just asked Kristen how she spelled her name, and she turned around to see why. I had to snatch my book away to make her think I was writing good stuff about her. Knowing her, I know she thinks something interesting was being said of her. She's just as bad as I. I hope I can find something on child neglect in the library today. I'm being threatened with death by Mrs. Baroud if I don't get the report in. Finished. Laters. Picture of the day. Picture. Har har. Today's entry was rained out. October 15th, 1980. I wrote that yesterday. Mrs. Baroud just read a story I gave to her. October 16th, 1980. Finally have some news to talk about for the morning. Too bad it isn't good news, though. Our dog Ben died today. It got hit by a car. Man, if something don't piss me off more than those fucking cars that zoom down our road. A big dog like Ben would have easily been seen in time by any car that was doing the speed limit. Fucking assholes. 3 dogs like that. We had finally found the dog we wanted and only had him for a week and a half. I just can't believe it. Some things. Friday, October 17th, 1980. Oh, my day is made. We just saw a presentation called Power Play. It was a presentation on us humans, how to live together and all. I am so filled with emotions now, but if that I can't write down. That stuff they were talking about was true. I just hope everybody else got the message of it. It was like a PSI renewal for me. I really believe in what was going on. I went in there negatively thinking it was some jazz on religion and stuff. Just shows how bad I was getting. That was really good. My day won't be the same. I have to start tomorrow. Monday, October 20th, 1980. Oh good, it's Monday, a new week to improve and all the stuff that I didn't do so good on last week. I was just trying to look at things positively that I usually look at negatively. I would have said, oh hell, it's Monday, but that would probably make my day bad. Now that I've looked at the day goodly, it will probably be good. I was just talking to Pat about the test on the Greeks today in social studies. Sounds easy. There's a good grade coming my way. We had a quiz in math on postulates. Hope I did well. Laters. Tuesday, October 21st, 1980. Oh God. I'm in a state of I don't know. I have my lab due this Thursday and I'm writing it up, but I have a bunch of questions on it that's not so... it's just that Mrs. Marlin is going to be absent all week. Wait a second, why didn't I think that before? Rats. I just remembered I can go ask Mrs. Wilford what to do. Oh, there's go my excuses for a crummy lab. Wednesday, October 22nd, 1980. The only thing that I can mention on this is I'm wearing a different shirt. I borrowed it from Joe this morning. It's his old Led Zeppelin one that the back rides up on where you sit down. I don't feel comfortable in it mentally. Other things on my mind are wanting to get my Space Invaders project going and getting my homework all done. I have a ton of it. The notes incident last night I didn't seem to have a dramatic effect on Joe. He was the same this morning as usual. My stepbrother was a year older than me, but he was held back twice in grade school, and while I was a sophomore, he was a freshman. And that was a very interesting and difficult dynamic. He should have been a junior, and so the following year he would be a senior. So as a freshman, he's made the decision that the following year he's going to be joining the Marine Corps. I was very anti-military at that time, and so I didn't like his decision that he was going to join the Marines. It seemed like he was giving up. But considering how his life had gone, that was a very clear decision. And that entry describes the family discussion about it, and then I was very high and mighty and condescending to him, even in my so-called apology note, rationalizing my projection of my own failure onto him. I say that now, projection of my failure onto him now, because I understand that's what I was doing. I was feeling like a failure because I wasn't getting my Space Invader project off the ground, and so I was projecting that feeling onto him, like joining the Marines was quote-unquote failing. I'm very clear about that dynamic now, but I like the fact that I did recognize I was doing projection even then by admitting that my big rationale for criticizing him I made up after the argument, sort of make myself feel better. So I admitted in my journal writing that I concocted my rationalization for the argument after I wasn't thinking that clearly while criticizing him at the dinner table. So it's very interesting, the development of that self-awareness. And that's all journal writing is. It's just supreme self-awareness, which can't hurt at all. Do it.